The other day I was cleaning my vest just to kind of get the leather polished up a little bit and ensure that my patches were still sewn on tight. Now, while I was inspecting the vest, I did become fixated on a single patch. It's a very simple 1x3 patch that I ordered from Amazon actually. It has 3 letters and 2 numbers on it. Now, very few people know the significance of those 3 letters and those 2 numbers, but they mean the world to me and to my family. The thought of that patch led me to think about 2 tattoos that I have on my right arm. One is a cross with a blue sash draped over it, and the other is a Masonic square and compass over the field of the American flag. Again, at first glance, 2 things that don't have much meaning to anyone, but they mean so much to me and to my family. You see, that patch simply says CJM32. It's in honor of my nephew. CJM are his initials, and 32 was his number that he wore when he played baseball. Tragically, my nephew died on January 17, 2021, at the age of 17. The last words that I spoke to him were something along the lines of, "See you later, knucklehead," at a Christmas gathering just a few weeks prior. The tattoo of the cross with the blue sash is in honor of my grandfather, who served as sheriff in a rural community here in Kentucky. He was killed in the line of duty long before I was ever born, but his blood flows in my veins. And I can only imagine the last words that my grandmother, my father, my uncle, and my aunt spoke to him when he left for work that morning. The other tattoo is in honor of my maternal grandfather. He was a Freemason and a veteran serving in the U.S. Army and fighting in the Korean War. My last words to him were shared the night before he died, and I can only pray that he somehow heard those words. I held his hand and I poured out my heart to him. I told him all that he meant to me, and I shared every memory that I could conjure with him. I wanted him to know just what an impact he had in my life, how his love and kindness led me to Christ through his own demonstration of faith. Last words have such an impactful meaning to all of us, whether we know that those last words will be spoken. Sometimes we find that those moments may cause us grief and regret because they weren't the words that we truly wanted to be the last ever heard by our loved ones. Jesus had a similar moment with last words that have propelled the church forward for 2,000 years. We know these words as the Great Commission, and they are found in Matthew chapter 28. Now the 11 disciples went to Galilee, to the mountain to which Jesus had directed them, and when they saw them, they worshipped him. But some doubted. And Jesus came and said to them, "All authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go therefore and make disciples of all nations, baptizing them in the name of the Father and of the Son and of the Holy Spirit, teaching them to observe all that I have commanded you. And behold, I am with you always to the end of the age." There was, however, a problem with this plan. The plan relied on man to spread the gospel. Now, don't misunderstand me, please. The 11 remaining disciples were utterly faithful to Christ, so you can guarantee that they went out and began spreading the gospel to anyone and everyone they encountered. But not everyone who heard the gospel believed or chose to continue sharing the gospel. So what stopped others from sharing the gospel? Was it fear? Was it a lack of love? Was it unbelief? Maybe it was a combination of all of these things. Consider your own experiences as a follower of Christ. How many times has God placed someone directly in your path and you've squandered the opportunity to share his holy word with that person? Did you realize that you even missed the chance? If you did realize that the moment was gone, did you question yourself about what stopped you? Now let's flip that question around, because truly we all haven't been followers of Christ our entire lives. And there may be a few listening today who don't even yet know him. How many times have you been around a believer and they failed to talk to you about Christ? As Christians, we must be bold, and we must live out the words of Romans 1:16. "For I am not ashamed of the gospel, for it is the power of God unto salvation for all who believe." 4 words with so much meaning. I am not ashamed. Simply put, we should seize every opportunity to share the gospel, demonstrate our sincere love for our fellow man, and live out the last words spoken by Jesus to his disciples. Without love, we place an insurmountable obstacle between ourselves and a genuine connection with the other person. In 1 Corinthians chapter 13, verses 1 through 3, Paul writes these words: "If I speak in the tongues of men and of angels, but have not love, I'm a noisy gong or a clanging cymbal. And if I have prophetic powers and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and if I have all faith so as to move mountains, but have not love, I am nothing. If I give away all I have, and if I deliver up my body to be burned, but have not love, I gain nothing." We can be the most intentional and consistent evangelist in the world. But if we do not have love, then Paul says we're just a noisy gong. Our heart is not where it should be. How many times have we passed up a good enough opportunity while we wait for a perfect opportunity? It isn't just cowardly on our part to do so, it's borderline foolish. The truth of the matter is that sharing Christ with others will always be inconvenient. There will be something less than perfect about the situation. The devil takes that moment to whisper his two favorite words to you: "Not now." Now, admittedly, I have squandered many gospel conversations because of fear, but I've been more diligent in addressing those fears over the course of the past couple of years. I've stepped out of my comfort zone, and I have found myself sharing the gospel with total strangers, and every single time it gets a little easier and a little more exciting. The words of the Great Commission were some of the last recorded words of Jesus Christ prior to his ascension. These words had meaning. They ignited a fire in those 11 disciples, and the gospel began spreading, and it continues to do so to this day. Are you doing your part? Don't let fear stand in your way. Let your love guide you, and share with someone the most important and life-changing truth that they will ever hear. What if the last words you ever speak to that person is the truth of the gospel of Jesus Christ? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done.